Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different for you because instead of talking about books, I want to talk a little bit about writing, which is related. As you may know, November is coming, which means that NaNoWriMo is coming, National Novel Writing Month. If you don't know what this is, it is a month-long pursuit where people all over the world attempt to write a 50,000 word novel in the month of November. I will be participating in this year's NaNoWriMo. I have also participated the last few years, and I decided to do a little video in prep for the month, which is the NaNoWriMo Tag as put forth by Christina Horner. I will link the video down below of the original tag video. But today's video is I'm just going to be going through the questions, so let's get started. The first question is, how many years have you done NaNoWriMo? I have done it 4 years technically, not counting this one. This will be my 5th year. I so far haven't actually won any of these years. I have never hit the 50,000 word count goal, but I still really enjoy doing it, so let's see how it goes. The next question is, how did you first hear about NaNoWriMo? I don't actually remember. I knew about it several years before I ended up actually doing it, because I know that I considered doing it for several years before I actually finally signed up. I think it might have been one of my college roommates was doing it, but again, I just don't really remember. I think I found out about it sometime in college, and the first year I did it was the first year out of college, basically. I had too much writing to do for my English literature degree, so I didn't really feel like I could take time away from my degree to work on a novel. I maybe could have balanced it, but that was just a decision I made not to until I was, working full-time and wasn't writing essays for my English lit major and then, writing short stories for my creative writing minor. The next question is, what is the name of your first NaNoWriMo novel? This one's embarrassing. So the first novel that I wrote was a pirate story. It was a fantasy pirate story, and it was called Come Hell or High Adventure because it was a play on Come Hell or High Water. Like I said, it's kind of embarrassing. I didn't end up actually finishing it because I realized that I would need to do a whole lot more research into different types of boats because I knew nothing about boats, and it ended up just kind of falling through. But that was the title. And also, in my defense, I knew that it was terrible at the time. I didn't expect to actually show it to anyone or tell anyone the title. I just kind of threw it up as a placeholder title until I could think of something better. That never happened, clearly, but there you go. The next question is, give us a one-sentence summary of what you're writing this year. I'm not totally sure what I'm going to be writing this year. In fact, my current working title is the shrug emoji as a way of showing that I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But I am probably going to be writing something about teens at a boarding school. Beyond that, I don't really know. The next question on here is, what is the best writing advice you have ever been given? So I worked at an independent bookstore for about 4 years, and it was one that hosts a ton of author events, different writers coming in to talk about their books and talk about the writing process, and so I've heard a lot of writing advice. I have also queued up a ton of posts to go on my Tumblr through the month of November in lieu of my normal Tumblr activities, which includes things like writing advice, writing prompts, ambient noise playlists, things like that. So again, there's a lot of writing advice that I've come across in my life. I don't know that I can pick a best one. I would say that a few of the best ones that I've heard are write every day, even if it's not for your novel. Write a short story, write a blog post. The next one is keep a journal, which I find really helpful because when you start trying to figure out your own emotional state, it means that you are then able to convey your character's emotional states more clearly because you're practiced in exploring that kind of emotion. And also that write what you know is actually kind of terrible advice when it comes to the plot, which is how you end up with so many novels about English professors contemplating affairs with their 20-something co-ed students. But what it is useful for is things like the emotional truth of things, because it's hard to write about something that is internal unless you've actually experienced that internally. External things you can usually do research for, but for things like details and emotions and side details, those things are good for write what you know. Plot, do not be restricted by write what you know. The last piece of writing advice that I've heard that I've liked is that the reader is smarter than you might think. So let them infer things that you really shouldn't be spending time detailing out. Like, you don't need to explain how someone opened a door or pulled a chair away from the table and sat down. People can figure that out. What you need to do is focus on what is relevant to the plot. So if you're going to be describing someone sitting down at a table, you'd better have a good reason for it, either that it is world building or that it has some kind of emotional resonance. The next question on here is, did you ever take a year off from Nano? Not technically. What I have done is, when I've been overloaded, is that I will technically try to do NaNoWriMo and just not get very far. The last couple years I have had a little bit too much to do in the month of November. For instance, 2 years ago I was working full-time and taking an online class, and I just had some stuff going on in my personal life, so I got like less than 10,000 words. And then last year I had recently moved up, like, across the state. I was still working full-time at a job that I hated. I was interning for about 10 hours a week, and I was also taking an online class. So I got like 5,000 words that year. So again, not technically, I did still technically write in the month of November, but I did so little that I kind of did take a year off. I have less going on this year, so I'm hoping to get a lot farther. The next question on here is, what is your biggest inspiration when trying to figure out what to write? Which, I don't know that there's anything really specific, but it's usually, you know, things that I've read or things that I've seen, things that I wish that there were more of. You know, it varies. It usually just comes from what would I enjoy reading, and either it's, you know, something that I've read a lot of that I've really enjoyed, or something that I haven't really read a lot of and I would really enjoy. The next question on here is, read the first sentence from one of your novels. So I went kind of back and forth on this one. I decided to eventually go with the first sentence of the first novel of my NaNoWriMo, which was, I leave tomorrow. This is the pirate story. And no, you don't get any more than that. The final question on here is, why do you love writing? I think partly it's just that I love storytelling, and I find that writing is a really good way to tell long-form stories. But I also find that sometimes when I'm writing, I'm able to surprise myself, and I think that those are some of the greatest moments, is when I am able to come up with something that I didn't know was in my head. You know, I've loved reading for so long, and books are such an important part of my life that it just seemed like sort of a natural extension that I would take something that I loved and try to do it myself. And like I said, I haven't actually finished anything yet, but I'm still hopeful, and we'll see how it goes this year. So if any of you are contemplating NaNoWriMo this year, please let me know. I would love to see who of you is going to be on this journey with me. And I am always looking for NaNoWriMo writing buddies, so I will link my URL down below so that if you guys have a NaNoWriMo account, you can feel free to add me. And I tag anyone who is going to be doing NaNoWriMo to answer these questions, because I would love to hear your answers. But that is going to be it for me today. I will see you guys soon with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.